let's take a look at our progressive defensive structure. Okay? And I want to do a couple of things. And what I'm going to do, ideally, what we're going to do is we're going to move Calvin in front of the bag at some point when we start the actual work, such that the defense part is isolated. What tends to happen with people is they'll do defense drills from this kind of range, and when people aren't used to having punches coming at them, they get quite daunted by it, and that's a natural thing. We should expect that, okay? So what people tend to do is I'll throw a jab, and he'll move back, right? He'll be kind of daunted by it, and he'll move back. And what I'm not doing there is focusing on the actual defense, okay? So what we're going to do when we get into it is we're going to isolate just defense, and then progressively look at how the punches tend to work and how the defense tends to work. Now the structure we're going to incorporate here is I'm going to make sure Calvin's hands are way up high and his elbows are in, okay? So I don't want his hands up. You hear a lot of times people say, make sure your hands are up. The problem with hands up is these are hands up, but there's still plenty of conduits to where angled punches, and those are the types of punches that new people tend to throw, fit in. And people get hit hard and they don't want to come back and spar in that kind of atmosphere, okay? So what we want to do is try to take that away as well as we can. So I want Calvin's hands even higher than he's accustomed to doing, and I actually want his fingertips touching his head this way, okay? Another thing that tends to happen with people is they'll have their hands up and they'll get hit in the hand and it'll hit them right in the face, which is just as bad, and it adds an element of being embarrassed as well. So I want Calvin's elbows in and his hands are right there, okay? That's a defensive structure we're going to look at. So we'll go right into jabbing, okay? Defense against the jab. So I'm going to put Calvin up against the bag here, okay? So he can't move his feet, okay? So he's got to stay here. I'm going to isolate just the jab. I'm going to throw just my lead hand, okay? And when I do, all Calvin's going to do is he's going to take either arm, it's not side specific, and kind of slide it up his face such that he catches the punch on his elbow just a little bit, such that I know that he's watching the punches. Okay, not that it has anything to do with the elbow necessarily, but I want to know that he's watching the punches. So Calvin's eyes will stay right here, right mid-clavicle on me. And I'll just isolate the jab, and I'll throw a jab. Calvin's just going to slide up, and he's going to catch the jab. Perfect. Jab, jab, jab. Move around a little bit. Now notice I'm keeping a good jab range out here. I don't want to get this close and just start jabbing him. It's too hard to do anything with, okay? So I'm just going to jab from out here. Nice and slow. Make sure I'm throwing a decent jab. Okay, jab, I'll move around him a little bit. Jab, jab, he's defending just perfectly. Okay, jab, 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 jab. Back this way a little bit. Jab. His hands are staying straight up, and more importantly, they're staying back. Again, if Calvin were to come into a more traditional way of defending jabs, maybe a parrying type system or something, especially for new people, it'd be really easy for me to trick him, get him to move, and then get my punch in, okay? So Calvin wants to defend his face. That's where people don't want to get hit in the face. He wants to defend his face. If you're going to defend your face properly, your hand should be in front of your face, okay? So just a few more, just with a jab. 1, 2, 3, good. Calvin, step off. Okay. Next, we'll mix in the cross.